On this episode of the show, we're going to talk about the potential problems with appointing siblings as trustees. Creating wealth, protecting families, building legacy. This is the Rich Life Lawyer Show. Hey everybody, this is Christopher Small, and this is episode 85 of the Rich Life Lawyer Show. I am super excited to be here with you today and to talk about a subject that is near and dear to my heart. Obviously, we're talking about everything estate planning. If you don't know who I am, I'm Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, that's it. We're really good at it because that's all we do. My focus is on families, on protection, on generational wealth, on making sure that your money is used for good when you're gone. It's also important for me to establish and carry on and promote values, traditions, morals of families so that the next generation knows what's happened before. That's what we're all about, and that's part of the reason why I do this show, and it's part of the reason why I do what I do. So thank you for being here, and let's talk about siblings as trustees. There's a situation that came across my desk a while ago. It was a question actually from another attorney, and they were presented with a situation where there was a parent that wanted to create a trust for their kids. They were concerned because one of the kids was not the best, didn't have the best history with money. You know, spent it frivolously or used it on things that weren't important or just would blow it. And so they were concerned about wasting and just giving away their money to be used for bad purposes. So they wanted to create this trust, and then they were considering making one of the trustees, which is the person that oversees the trust, kind of manages the money, another sibling, so another sister or brother of this person. And they were concerned because they thought that there might be some problems there, and there are some problems there. And that's why I wanted to make sure I talked about it on this video, because if you are thinking about appointing a trustee, that's one of your kids, and you're going to have that kid oversee the money of one of your other kids, there's some really big potential problems there. And I just want to talk about what they are right now. There are really three big potential problems. The first problem is the potential conflict of interest that can arise. You know, depending on the way that the trust is set up, there can be a situation where the person that's the trustee overseeing the money for their brother or sister will receive a windfall if that money is not actually given to that brother or sister. You know, imagine a situation where the bad brother passes away and then the trustee receives the balance that's left. That can create a conflict where, you know, the trustee, even though they may be acting in the best interest, it doesn't look right because there's always sort of that cloud of, oh, they're saving this money for themselves, right? They're deciding not to distribute money because they want to keep it for themselves. So that's the first sort of problem that can arise. The second problem that can arise is that, you know, you're going to put the person that's appointed to be the trustee, the good kid, you're going to put them in a really bad spot because when they become the trustee, they're going to really step out of that role as brother or sister to their sibling. And they're going to really take on sort of a manager sort of a role. They're going to be overseeing the distribution of money. They're going to be overseeing these requests, and it can really change the dynamic of the relationship, and it can change it in a way that's not great, quite frankly. It can change it in a way that's damaging. And so if those siblings have a good relationship now, it can really sort of change the context of that relationship forever. And you know, with my kids, I want to make sure that they're family first all the time. You know, we always preach, you know, loyalty. We stay within the family, right? We protect each other, that kind of thing. And that can get really tough when you put the good kid in a situation with, you know, overseeing the money of the bad kid. The third problem that can arise is that the person that you're putting in charge, even though they're the good kid, right, they're the responsible kid, they may still not have the skills to manage and take care of the trust in a way that benefits the good kid or the bad kid or everybody. what may seem like a lot of money, let's say you have $500,000. If you're trying to stretch that out over 25 or 30 years or so, if that's not managed properly, then the money can get sucked out. It can also be tough because the good kid's going to have to decide whether or not they want to be a true manager, a true trustee, or if they want to have a good relationship with their sibling. There can be pressure put on there. So the good kid may not be equipped to handle the accounting, the taxes, the distributions, the notices, the filings, all these things that go along with being a trustee. So for those three reasons, it may not be a good idea to appoint a sibling as a trustee. Now, what's the solution? Well, there are a couple of solutions. If you have someone that is good with money, that you trust, that does have some skills in these areas, then you may want to appoint them. You could also consider appointing a professional trustee. What you get with the professional trustee is by the books, right? You have no history there. You have no relationship. There's no emotion in the decisions. The questions are, do they meet the elements of the trust distribution requirements? If they do, then the money gets sent out. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. There's no hard feelings between siblings because you as the professional trustee, or me, for example, would be the bad guy. Now, the downside to having a professional trustee is that you have to pay them, and the fees can vary widely across trust administrators. So I would encourage you to kind of look around and ask around to see if you want to have a big bank do it, where it's going to be more expensive. If you want to have a true trust administration sort of a company do it, which is something that we handle from time to time, and our fees are much lower, right? Because our process is streamlined and we do some other things. We're not beholden to our own sort of I have no stockholders, right? So I'm not trying to make money, right? Basically, but in any event, the goal here is to make sure that you think this through, right? Because with estate planning, you have the opportunity to create great relationships after you're gone, promote those relationships. You also have the opportunity and the consequence of doing harm if you don't think it all the way through. So hopefully this helped. If you have more questions, you can always call 206-659-1512. You can email me, chris@cmslawfirm.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I would love to help you make your family great, right, forever. So that's it for today. Thank you. Talk to you soon.